And we are live. I'm Alexia Anastasio. I'm a filmmaker and I teach about crowdfunding. And I'm here with the creator of Keyando, the game of happiness. Dirk, do you want to talk about and tell the audience who you are, how you got started?
Yeah, of course, I would love to do that. Hi, my name is Dirk de Poel. I'm based in Berlin. I work as a life coach and business consultant, and I'm also an entrepreneur, have some small companies. And yeah, 3 years ago, I started to work on Keyando. The very idea just came up because I did some cards for the purpose of doing life coaching. And these cards were called the 13 keys because there were only 13 cards. And this would be used for live coaching sessions, but also in group coaching sessions. And whenever I was using these cards in group coaching sessions, I mean, without the hierarchy of here the coach and here the coachee, I found that the people much more were able to open up and like to talk and share experience, talking about really what really matters in life. And that was great fun at the same time. And this gave me the idea, I should do a game. I mean, a game based on cards, which people just give the opportunity to really open up, to talk about things, their experience, share, and of course, get to know each other much better. So that's how all the thing, the idea of Keyando came up and how the whole thing began.
I think that's great that it came out of helping people.
Yeah, sure.
So what's your big intention with the card game? What do you want to see happen with it?
Well, I mean, the next steps, I mean, I started with 13 keys, as I told you before. And the next big question was, what kind of more cards should I develop? And I was really thinking hard about what these cards should represent or show in order to bring people really to talk about things which matters or open up. And the idea of creating the game of happiness actually came up when I found the World Book of Happiness. That was a lucky thing to find, because in this book you have the 100 most recent studies on happiness from scientists all over the world, and it was quite easy with the help of this book to skip through all these studies and extract the most important keys to happiness. And without this book, it would have taken much longer, because reading all the extended version of the different scientific studies would have taken ages, most likely. So that was a lucky thing to get this book into my hands. Of course, there were other publications, books on coaching and different aspects of life, but the main thing, of course, was the World Book of Happiness. So, and from that point on, it was easy. I mean, in the end, you have to make a decision. I extracted the most important keys to happiness, namely 46 keys to happiness, which are present in the game as cards. And you can work with the cards in the game, of course. And in the beginning, we start to play the game with a certain rule set and just with the keys to happiness. That was okay. Of course, the rules developed over time. We did about 200 test games in order to really find more easy, more comprehensible rules. And we soon found we have to find something to represent the other sides of life. I mean, the dark sides, I mean, the problems, the challenges. And that's the point where the vampires and the angels came in, because we have to have something. I mean, we all have problems from time to time. We all have crisis or go through crisis, and we all have experiences which are not on the bright side of life, for sure. And therefore, we had to have something like that. But that was a thing to introduce the angels and the vampires. And the other thing is, of course, it would be hybris to say, these are the 46 keys to happiness and everyone will be happy with them. So the jokers and angels also work as a wild card, and they can represent whatever you want. I mean, whenever you are missing something in the game, you can use a joker or vampire, and that can be anything you want, and that gives you the possibility to ask anything you want or to talk about anything you like. I mean, the game is about asking questions, I mean, to the other players, or telling stories. And with the help of the jokers, you can do anything. So this game is completely open. It's completely undogmatic, because whatever the card means, I mean, if you talk about love, freedom, friendship, family, integrity, or whatever, what does it mean? I mean, it means nothing else than we, as the players on the table, decide and agree on in the very special gaming situation. So that's the whole trick. I mean, of course, all these things have some kind of meaning, but it's up to us to negotiate.
Yeah. And how do you win the game?
Well, it's about winning in life, yeah. But what does winning in life mean? I mean, it's not about being the smartest, the richest, or whatever. I mean, it's about friendship. It's about connectedness. It's about sharing things, sharing experiences. I mean, of course, sometimes we have players who are really focused on winning. I mean, obviously, winning is their key to happiness. There are people like that out there, of course, and that's totally okay. But most of the times, I would say 90% of the people just like to play the game, and they even like to violate the rules because it's so much fun to talk and to ask and to discuss that they're not into winning, they are into playing the game. But here again, the Joker comes in. I mean, the angels and vampire come into the play, because whenever someone talking too much or too boring or it's get too private, or someone is in a situation where we can see, it's not okay for him to be asked about this or that topic, and he doesn't feel comfortable, then you can throw a Joker anytime and you will stop the game. So how does the game work? You can do three things, basically. You can play a card, open on the table, and ask a player of your choice anything about this card. Let's say you play the love card. You could ask something like, when have you been in love the last time? I mean, love with full passion. Well, that might be a very special question, depending on the question whether the actual boy or girlfriend is sitting right next to him. So then it's about the asked person to accept the question or to refuse the question. If the answer is refused, the asked player has to draw another card from the stack, which is a bad thing, because whoever plays all cards first is about to win. But if the asked player accepts the question, he has to answer the question. And then it's up to the question whether he's satisfied with the answer or not. So, and this, of course, might also be a point where some kind of discussion starts, and even the other players not involved into this little one-on-one question and answer game might be dissatisfied with the answer, and then they start to complain, hey, boy, you think that answer is okay? No, that answer is not okay. I think that was a fake answer, or it wasn't really the truth. I mean, come on, do you buy this story? Do you buy this answer? And then it takes off, and that can get very loud and vivid and funny, of course.
So if you are truthful and open, that you might be better at quote unquote winning this game.
Sure. Especially because if you accept a question and your answer is accepted, you are rewarded. How are you rewarded? It will be your turn. I mean, the other players whose turn it would be, it goes clockwise, are skipped, and then you would be the next one who's allowed to play. Mm-hmm. So there's a little reward for you. So if you are into winning and want to get rid of your cards, I mean, play them in a sensible way, it's a good thing to accept the questions. So that's the one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is place the card in the middle of the table, face down, and tell a story about the card without telling the name or the word which is written on the card. Let's say you put down the card, let's say respect. And then you can tell a story about a situation in where you have been highly respected or rewarded. or you can tell a situation where you perhaps were the respect were violated and someone was treating you bad. But you're not allowed to talk about respect or being respected. It's just a way they have to do some kind of storytelling. And then in the next step, everyone who sings, he really gets the point of the story and has a card which really is a topic of the story you are telling, can put down a card face down as well. And then after everyone who sings, he has a matching card. I mean, the story is about recognition, or the story is about empathy, or the story is about mindfulness. Maybe I think it's about respect, but because maybe I just felt I was disrespected, but in the end it was something else. Perhaps I was so focused on my creative process that I didn't see that someone else was taking advantage of my creative work or whatever. And all of a sudden I wake up and see, damn, someone was stealing my work, or someone was getting for my credits. And of course, I wasn't respected, my work wasn't respected, but in the end it was about me, because I was so focused and so committed to my work, and it was lacking a sense of awareness or mindfulness and empathy, what's going around in my situation, in my workplace or whatever. And so I get kind of feedback from the other players. I tell a story and I might think that I have an idea what it's all about, but maybe I find out the course of the game that there might be a different point of view. What's the real trick or the real point of the story I'm telling? And of course, here again, a discussion starts, because when if everyone has laid a card of whom he thinks that it's matching to the story, they are turned around and then the discussion starts. Which of these cards do really match to the story? Which of these cards do really represent the core? I mean, the real meaning of the story. And then it's a question of a simple majority decision. And then again, the discussion can get really, very loud and vivid, because sometimes people just resign. Okay, I realized this card wasn't that matching, or they really try to defend their point of view and their card, because they're really convinced the story is about that point and not about the other point. And sometimes it's very useful to have a joker to stop the discussion, because it can get very vivid and very lively, and sometimes there's laughing, sometimes there's shouting. So it's highly group dynamic. It's really highly group dynamic. And I mean, Keyando is just some kind of catalysator. I mean, no matter what kind of group you have, friends or people from work, or even complete strangers, or if you use it as a speed dating tool, we did sessions like that as well. Just need 5 to 10 minutes to realize who is on the table, what kind of characters do I get to know here, and whom would I like to see again, or whom do I don't like to see again ever, because it just really brings out the character of the people, the structure of the group, the dynamic of the group, and people who are strangers get to know very quickly, and people who likes them and know them, I mean, since years or something like that, are friends, get to know themselves and the other friends much better and more intense than they thought would have ever been possible in such a short time.
But I want you to say where you can find you.
The game is on Kickstarter right now. So we have a Kickstarter campaign. And if you go to Kickstarter and just look up Keyando, you will find us very quickly. So I would be very happy if you all visit the campaign, support the campaign.